Hi dragons, what's up? It's Nikita. Welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I have a story time. Now, if you do not know me to ever speak on a story time, or if you don't even know my channel to have ever spoken on a story time, I do not blame you because I so rarely ever do story times. The only time I do story times is when I just feel in my inner being that something has happened to me so crazy, so effed up, so wild that it just needs to be let out. I'm so sorry, but also maybe glad that you guys are about to witness and listen to what I really have been going through this past year. So pretty much, I got kicked out of a rapper's house for being transgender. I know what you're already thinking off the bat. Nikita, you should have known better. It's a rapper. Why were you in a rapper's mansion? Why did you think that you weren't gonna get kicked out and blah, 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 blah. It was a situation where I ended up there. So let me just jump straight into it because this is a very long time span that's affected me for almost over a year now. It was something that had taken place over a year ago on Halloween. And I know what you might be thinking, like,
oh my god, like the tea is so cold, girl. Like, girl, I thought you were gonna have some hot tea for me.
Now listen, I did not speak on this over a year ago because I was like, you know what, Nikita, this is just a really crazy instance. This is like a 1 in a million chance. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there's no need to make a full long YouTube video about it. Like, you know what, just lesson learn and go on with your life. But no, a year later, I'm still having to deal with repercussions from this one night on Halloween. Let me take you on back to 27 mother effing teen, and I ended up really taking Halloween seriously this year, and I wanted to go all out. You know, this was one of the first times I was living by myself in LA and I wasn't in college. So I really wanted to go full out for Halloween. So this was the time when I was doing Kill Bill, and I also was doing Team Rocket, which is the outfit and the night that this all happened on. So when I was in my Team Rocket outfit with Gabby, we went out, we did the most. I looked so cute. I had a little Pokeball. I mean, at one point we were at someone's house and it was like 5 of us in the bathroom. You know when like one girl has to pee, but then it's like, no, if I gotta pee, you, and you, we all gotta pee, bitch. Like, don't try to tell me that I'm gonna go pee by myself on Halloween night at a house party. No. We all end up in the bathroom, and already the night is starting off with a literal bang with Avril Lavigne banging on the door, busting down the door handle, and boom, Avril Lavigne is standing there. Well, I don't know if she's like still Avril Lavigne. It could have been like the clone copy of Avril Lavigne, but she was standing there as we were all standing in the bathroom. And I think I actually have a picture of me and Gabby in the bathroom. And literally as we're taking this picture, Avril Lavigne is banging on the door. So fast forward after a very long and wild night of drinking and partying and going crazy and Pokeballs and, you know, house mansion over here and then club over here and then a friend here and then an after party over here, whatever. It's literally probably 4 o'clock in the morning. So when I say that I was very in the partying mood and I was like, you know what? I have this red wig on. I have this Team Rocket outfit on. I spent so much money on it. I'm not gonna go home. Yes, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, but you know what? There is still a night to be had. I felt like my pussy stunt meter was still at a point where I could fully go off. Like I was probably at like 20%. You know when your battery's like 20%, do you wanna switch to low battery mode? I was the low battery mode at this point, and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna go ham. Let's do this. I'm only gonna live Halloween 2017 once in my life. So I start texting my friend who is a very, 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 very famous model, and she has body and has curves. Her name is Janet Guzman. So her and I have actually been friends for almost like 3 years now. I actually met her at the same time when I met Oscar, and I met Oscar like the first second I got here in LA. They both were working at the same place. She was at the time not a model, but she was doing like fashion-y stuff, and now she's the Fashion Nova model. And her and I actually did a video on my channel that is not out yet because I needed to do this story time. Her and I were starting to film the video that I'm about to put out and everything, and we start getting into this whole story time on accident because we were talking about how we know each other and things that we've been through, because a lot of people say that we look alike even though we don't at all. I think we kind of look similar when I Facetune myself, but you know, she's curvy, Latina, slightly Asian looking, and I feel like that's enough these days to look like Nikita Dragun. And anyway, so as we're filming this video, we start bringing up this particular story time that I'm about to talk about right now, that I am talking about right now, because she was the one who invited me, and I felt like the story time needed its absolute own video. I feel like we haven't even like experienced an experience like we did on Halloween. But literally Janet was there with me experiencing the whole thing. I got invited to this place because of Miss Janet, honey, because looking the way she does.
We were texting each other, right? Like all day, like let's hang out, let's
Like
go
let's
out.
do something for Halloween, girl.
Yeah, and you were at an event. I think. Then you came to me. It was late. It was
Yeah.
like 2:30.
It was, girl, you guys, it was literally almost 3 a.m. Okay, so I hit up Janet on Halloween night because we had actually hung out multiple times throughout Halloween. I hung out with her the Kill Bill night when I was doing Kill Bill, and then this was the last night when it was Team Rocket. So I was like, hey girl, like what are you doing? And she was just saying that she was gonna go to a party, and then she ends up texting me like, hey, what are you doing? And it was literally like 3 o'clock in the morning. I either texted her or she texted me, one or the other, but we were just like, hey, let's link up. What are you doing right now? So she tells me that she's at house. Like I don't even want to say his name because I'll get to it later in the story, but there's a reason why I do not want to say his name, because it's not really all specifically him. That is why all this crazy stuff happened. But let's just say rapper. She was at rapper's party. And when I say rapper, it's not some like, oh, SoundCloud little rapper. Like you guys know who this rapper is, but let's get into that in a second. So she is at rapper's house, and I was like, oh my God, like, wow, you are at this person's house. Like I love his music. Like I hear his stuff all the time. So, I mean, of course I'm down to go, even just to vibe. I'm not necessarily wanting a photo or anything, but I just want to go to this party, have fun. Like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm like, yes, I'm down for a celeb party, bitch. Hello. Anyway, so I make my way downtown, walking fast. Pace is fast and I'm home down. No, just kidding. It was actually over, like, I think it was like over in like the Beverly Hills area. But anyway, so I make my way over with a girlfriend of mine, and the, I guess, thing to note, which shouldn't even be something to note, is not only am I obviously trans, but the person I was with is also trans as well. So, you know, 2 trans girls going to a rapper's house. I didn't really think anything of it. Yes, I will say, as a trans person, as a trans woman, I am extra precautious in everyday life and everyday outings like this. I think, again, it's for a whole nother video, but things that trans girls have to go through is so next level and so wild. Imagine being a girl, but then on top of that, having to deal with the whole trans issue. You know, like what if someone clocks me at this party? Like that's a thing I have to think about every single day. Or what if I'm walking down the street and someone clocks me and all of a sudden they want to attack me because I'm transgender? Like these are things that trans people have to face all the time. But at the same time, I'm a person that I don't want to live my life in fear, and I will not live my life in fear. So yes, am I going to go into these situations kind of knowing that maybe a rapper might be uncomfortable with the fact that I'm transgender? Yes, it's in the back of my mind. But at the same time, am I thinking, oh, I can't go because I'm transgender? No, like I think that I should have just as an amazing life and, you know, live as crazy as any other person. So to me, I just didn't feel as though I shouldn't go because I'm not transgender, or because I'm also with someone who's also trans, you know? So we end up going to this party, and immediately outside, I was really gagged because it wasn't even like a space or a house where you have to like enter through a gate and, you know, do the most security, because that's how it normally is with celebrity houses or other parties I've been to that have been, you know, with a lot of security or with a lot of people who are A-listers. And so I get to the party, regular Uber X girl, we pull up. It is, again, like I said, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I actually had changed out of my Team Rocket outfit because I just got so nervous. What happens if it's not a Halloween party, you know? I mean, it wasn't exactly on actual Halloween. It was like either a day before or a day after, I can't remember, but I just didn't want to look stupid showing up to a party and then it like not be Halloween themed or something. Like that's to me like such a nightmare. Like imagine like showing up and I'm like full Team Rocket outfit, red wig that wasn't even that good, wasn't even that laid, and just like, hey, you know, like in an A-list party. Like I just was a little nervous. Again, like I said, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm trans. Like what if they don't want trans people? You know, like it's stupid. But anyways, okay, so now we're pulled up to the gate officially. There's a security guard standing outside. I'm calling and texting my girl Janet being like, hey, I'm outside. Can you please get us in? I was still waiting in the Uber because I had seen that there was people still gathering outside of this giant, like when I say giant, like I think that might be an understatement. Like it's just not even a house, I would call it. It's like a like a estate, like this huge ass, big castle looking thing, like a residential home, I guess. But I'm just like, girl, how many people can physically live in here? Like, I don't even know. Even if I had my family, my distant cousins, my aunts, uncles, nieces, I still don't even think I'd be able to fill more than half of the space up in there. Girl, it was a monstrosity of a house. Let me just say that. Anyways, we're now walking up to the gate. Homegirl's about to come fetch us. The security guard bouncer looking dude is standing outside. And again, like I said, it's a residential home. So it's not like a club or anything. It's like a homie from, I guess, the crew or whatever. So as I'm walking up, of course, he's hitting me with the typical, who you here with, who you supposed to be here with. So as I'm walking up to him already, he's giving me like that look, you know, the look of like, oh shit, like maybe I'm not supposed to be here, or like, what if I don't even get let in or whatever. But thankfully at that very moment, Janet had come out of the place and was like, oh, okay, these two girls are with me, da 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 da. So we shuffle on inside of this party. And like I said, it was a huge estate. So we're walking through like the front and entrance, and we see like Rolls Royces everywhere, like really expensive cars in front of the actual house itself. And we're like walking through the driveway. And as we're walking through the driveway, now we're walking to the side of the house. And as we're walking to the side of the house, now we're like leading into this trail that leads into the actual back of the house with like the pool. And then there was like a almost like a workout space, but I think it was like a studio too. Like it looked like another house behind it almost, but it was like kind of, I guess, where people might've been smoking and like doing other stuff. So there was like another situation happening over in the corner, as well as everything that was going on in the backyard. So let me just explain. So once I get to the backyard, it's like people, but there's like not an obscene amount of people. Like you're gonna stand out in the sense of like, it's not hundreds of people. It's like, you know, probably like 40, 50 people kind of all gathered around this bar area that was there. They're playing music. There's hookah everywhere. There's also a fire pit that's going. There is a pool, a giant pool, like almost looked like a lake. And then there was like probably a jacuzzi somewhere. But basically it was a vibe and a scene, and, you know, a little bit more of a kickback than I had initially thought. I thought it would have been like a bigger party, something more I could like kind of hide, I guess, in the background, not so much like out in the open. And I felt like the second I walked in, instantly everyone was looking at me. Instantly people were just like looking me up and down. And even though I was literally in a black dress, yes, I was wearing a red wig and everything, people actually there were already still dressed in Halloween costumes. So I didn't really feel completely out of place. At the same time, instantly I just was like, okay, I need to get a drink or something, because people are literally hounding me, like just up and down, looking at me like, and I'm like, oh my God, okay. Because in situations where you are trans, or maybe you're just someone who has an insecurity or whatever, but for me as a trans woman, like in those situations, I immediately think I'm getting clocked. Like I immediately think that people are like, oh, that's a man, that's a dude, like, you know, looking me up and down. And that's just an interpersonal thing, I guess, constantly in my mind. But at the same time, I have never been wrong. Let me just say that. So now we're in the party. I guess the coast is clear. I do not see said rapper the second I get in there. I was seeing other very famous artists. There was rappers, other like hip hop artists, and just like really cool people just all around. It wasn't anything too crazy. Like I said, it was very, 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 very much so a chill setting. And I was like, okay, let me just get a drink, because I need to like calm my nerves right now, because people are just a lot right now. So we walk over to the bar, we start getting drinks. I'm getting a little tipsy with my girls, and honestly, it was almost like less so of the fantasy of me going to said person rapper's house, and more of like, oh, I'm just here with my friend and we're kind of doing our own thing. And yes, people are around us, but it's not like we're really interacting with anyone. So now at this point, we're drinking and we're cooling off, and I am not gonna lie, like I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing this rapper. Like it's his house apparently, and I see a lot of other celebrities and artists and stuff, and they're cool and everything, but they're not really the person that I at least wanted to see. You know, if someone invites you to their house, or someone says that like, okay, we're gonna go to this person's house, you would think that you would see the person. Anyway, so we walk over, and now we're sitting on the couch area, which is like large. It's like two couches kind of like this, and then in the middle is like a fire pit, and it's kind of like, I guess, two like, and in this particular area, it is a little bit more light. Everywhere else in the party was very vibey, like you know, LED lights on. So it was like either pink or like a blue hue. The outhouse itself, like the other house in the back, was like constantly changing colors. And it just, I don't even want to know what was going on in that place. It like seemed weird. So like I never actually went over in the back into like that studio random little area. So I was just constantly in the back. But in this particular area where the couches were, where the fire pit was, so I'm just drinking my drink, finishing things. And I'm even asking my friend Janet, like, oh, have you even seen him? And she's like, yeah, he was here earlier, like walking around and everything, but I haven't seen him in a while. His friends are over here. And like, yeah, like there's this artist and this art. And I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. But I was a little bummed, and that, not gonna lie, like I really wanted to see him. Then we're just chilling there, like I said. And again, I'm not in any sort of hype to be here. I'm not all up and bothered. Like I need to be here. This is the party of the century. Like I was full and more down to go home or go to McDonald's and get a damn 10-piece chicken McNugget, large French fry, large sweet tea with an Oreo McFlurry and a kid's menu maybe, just to even like make myself even that much happier. And it would have been better and more of a vibe than where I was. But I was just like, you know what? I'm ending the night. I'm here with my girlfriend. It's the last night I'm probably gonna party, so why not just enjoy it really quickly? So as I'm in this kind of like woo-saw mentality, that was the moment when everything really mother effing went down, girl. As I'm chilling, doing my own thing, just with my girls, still not seeing homeboy rapper, out of this, again, like I said, this blinding light that was on all of us, because we were all sitting on the couches. Out of the light, I see a dark figure start just emerging from the crowd, because it's like backlit, obviously. So if someone's like, you know, walking towards you, but the light's facing you, you're like, okay, someone's approaching me. And I just felt it like instantly. Like this guy walks over to us, and now he's standing above me. Like he is, because we're sitting, he's standing above me, right in front of me. And he's looking down at me, and he goes, "You're not supposed to be here. Why are you here? You need to leave right the now. Why are you here? Why you need to, you all need to go right now." Sweetheart, let me tell you, I am not a confrontational person at all. I do not seek out confrontation. I don't seek out fight. But when threatens, my last name is Dragun for a mother effing reason, girl. Don't think that you're gonna come at me all types of crazy out of nowhere when everything is just chilling. Like I'm not even talking like the music was blaring, blasting, like people were, no, people were literally just chilling out. And all of a sudden he comes running over to me, making such a scene, because now everyone at this party is looking at me, and he's telling me I need to get out, that I'm not supposed to be here, that I have no right to be here. He is not even the rapper. He's not, I don't even know who he is. He could have been some random person from the party, but is now saying that he is the friend to the rapper, and that I need to get out of the rapper's place because I'm not invited. I wasn't invited, and this, that, and the other, and I shouldn't be there, and whatever. I literally tell him, I'm like, you need to calm down, because what you're doing right now is disrespectful. You're not gonna come to me. I don't even know your name. I was like, hi, I'm Nikita. That's a good way to start off this conversation and not accusing me of something. I was like, I am here with Janet. This is the person who invited me here. I have no problem leaving. I will leave in 2 seconds. But what you're not gonna do is make me feel uncomfortable, make me feel embarrassed in front of all my friends. And I don't even know who you are. Who are you? And that's what I prefaced to him. I was like, who are you? Like, who are you? Who are you to have the right to come to me and tell me that I need to leave this party for no reason? What's the reason? What's the reason I'm not supposed to be here? I'm not supposed to be, there's like a bunch of people around me, and me out of everyone, who is just literally sitting here at this point like, I'm not supposed to be here? Bitch, bye. Have a good day, sweetie. Anyway, so he's now out acting all sorts of crazy, and as soon as I tell him off, he runs back over to the crowd and is now talking to another guy. And I'm just immediately like, yo, like what's going on? I'm here with my other trans friend over here and Janet. So pretty much I'm now telling Janet like, hey, I can totally leave. I feel already so uncomfortable. Like this party's already whacking over. Like, thank you so much for inviting me. I think I'm gonna go now, because it's just, even though I don't know who this person is, like I'm totally fine to leave, because like I said, I'm not having the best time of my life. I've not even seen homeboy. I don't even, whatever. He could have been gone for all I knew. So I'm talking to her, and she's like, you know what? Honestly, this is whack. I don't know what they're doing, whatever. And then instantly in my mind, I'm already knowing like, hey, he clocked me. You know, that's just what it is. And she's like, no, I don't know why he's coming to you all crazy. Like, I don't know what's up. And I was like, no, he clocked me. Like, he does not want me here because he now knows who I am. He knows I'm transgender. Maybe he wasn't the person who like found out and knew in his mind or whatever, but someone here at this party then whispered the concern of, hey, that's a trans girl. And yes, no one ever voiced that to me, but I know that that's the fucking case, because as a person who is trans, like you can just feel it in your gut. You can feel it in the pit of your stomach, and you don't want it to be true, and you you don't want it to be like that, but it's what it is. It's just what it is at the end of the day, and you just have to roll with it. Anyway, so homeboy now comes back with another guy, and both of them are now being like, hey, we need to talk to you, and want to talk to Janet, who's the girl who invited me to the party. So she gets up and she walks, and I already told her before this, like, hey, I'm so fine to leave. Please, like, don't even make it more of a thing than it is. They're uncomfortable with me being trans. Like, I just know it and whatever. The second they go off and they start talking and they're only a couple feet in front of me and I'm again here with all the other girls, I just already know what's going on and it's not even a big deal to me. But the second they stop talking to her, which was a good minute, like, they're very like, oh, da-da-da-da, oh, da-da-da-da, you know, like, I can just see them like doing motions and all sorts of things.
Yeah, and I was telling my friend, because my friend actually invited me to the party. I was like, wait, what is going on? Why is this guy telling her to leave? And he was just like, wait, why didn't you tell me? I was like, tell you what?
Yeah.
He was like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, tell you what? I was so confused.
So she comes back and she sits down and she's very like, girl, okay, girl, what happened? Like, what did they just say? Like, why are you giving me this vibe right now? Like, what's going on? So I asked her and I was like, they are kicking me out because I'm trans, aren't they? And she's like, I know, but it's just so stupid why they have a problem with it when it shouldn't even be a thing. And so pretty much what she articulated to me, and which is something that I don't really feel like any person has to take the burden on of a trans person, but I do feel like it is something that's like kind of a lesson of like, oh wow, this is how it really is for trans people. Like, so Janet is now expressing to me like, so I guess someone at the party did tell one of the guys that you are trans and that the two of you, so me and my T-girlfriend, are transgender. Cause like, girl, once one person gets clocked, it's like you're only as unclockable as your clockiest friend. And I say that very lightheartedly, but it's so true. Like, you know, once one person gets clocked, we all get clocked. So, you know, we're all getting clocked right now. And she's just like, yeah, one person, I guess the girls were telling the guy that, you know, you are transgender, and they brought it up to their attention, and now they think that you should leave the party because you're transgender, pretty much. Like, I pretty much gave the sum up. Like, she was beating around the bush with it. She just couldn't believe it. And I think it was so sweet of her to even be defensive of me, to even take my back, to even want to leave now the party too, because I'm gonna leave. So I finally get up, we're walking out, we're leaving and everything. And I'm like, okay, bye. Like, I don't even know who this guy is or whatever. And as I'm leaving, Janet's even whispering to me, being like, I don't even know why this is such a thing, because this person actively seeks out trans females to have sex with. And, you know, a rumor, I guess, has been going on that, you know, he pays trans people to get down and dirty. So it's like, why would this person even really care that you're even here? You know, he should be thankful that you're here and whatever. And so I'm like, okay, I don't really care. I don't have the energy for it. Again, like I said, I haven't even seen him, so whatever. As we're walking out, there is I think it's a Rolls Royce, one of the big white cars that kind of looks like a hearse. So as we're walking out, I see the car on, and there's a pizza box on top of it, and there's a security guard standing at the driver's window, and it's completely tinted. I cannot see who's in it and whatever. So as we're walking out, it's me, my T-girlfriend, Janet, and then all the other girls. And as we're walking out, the window rolls down. Yo, wait, grab her, bring her over here. As we're walking out, the window goes down this much. I look over and I'm like, who is yelling at me already? Like, haven't I been through enough? Like, I'm already leaving, damn, like, can I just have a second? The window rolls down and I immediately, from just this much of the face, know exactly who it is. It's the rapper. Now at this point, he's yelling for us. So he yells for us. Security guard walks over and grabs my T-girlfriend and I. And we're walking over to the car and I'm just like, oh my God, like, what's going on? Like, my head's already thinking like, fight or flight, girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what more do you have to say to me now? Like, I could care less about you at this point because you've disrespected me so much that like, I don't even care what you have to say. Like, whatever. Anyway, so we walk over to the car. My friend immediately opens the pizza box, grabs a slice of pizza. She's just like so fearless and I like love her for it. She grabs a slice of pizza, immediately like biting into it, whatever. And the guy rapper is like, yo, get their numbers, da 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 da. Didn't hear the rest of what he said, but all I heard was, get their number. The window goes, closes, bitch, closes. Like, that was all I ever saw of this particular rapper in this moment. And in this instance, I'm like, wow, I'm really getting kicked out of this party right now. And then he's gonna roll down the window this much and then roll it back up. I'm like, great, okay, love that. Now we're walking outside and I feel like the energy instantly shifts because now we have like the rapper's stamp of approval. I don't even know what he wanted to do, but we start walking outside and now it's me, my T-girlfriend, and the security guard, and we're walking through the same gate that we had entered in. Janet's already in the car car, people already in the car, whatever. And so at this point, the bouncer guy took particular interest to my T-girlfriend. He was like, hey, okay, walk with me for a second. And I was like, hey, like, where are you guys going? She's like, I don't know, like, it's fine. Like, just trust me, like, it's fine, like, whatever. So they start walking down the street just a little bit, but still in my plain view sight. Like, we're outside, imagine, in front of a house. There's an Uber here. There's a couple people around, but mostly just the security guard now walking down the street just a tiny bit with my friend. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what's about to happen? What is he about to do? Already so much weird stuff has happened. Like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I just want to go home. I want to go to bed. I want my McFlurry, whatever. So now they're walking down the street and they kind of go behind, from what I can see, like a car. And I can still see them a little bit. Like, I can see the top of their heads. And I'm just seeing the bouncer like looking down at my T-girlfriend and her back to like the back of a car, like some random car like that was just parked on the street. And they're talking and I'm still just staring straight at them. And then at one point they're completely out of my view and I'm like, oh my God, like my heart's racing. Okay, you guys, I was finishing editing the video and right now I was just looking back and thinking I really need to have the other side of the story from Demi, my T-girlfriend that I was including in this video and talking about in the story time, the one who got taken back and whatever. Like, I just want you guys to hear from her exactly what was going down because I just feel like she played such a key role in this and we both were getting clocked galore. So I'm gonna call her right now and have her on the phone. She picked up.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, crazy, I know, but I've been really wanting to talk about that crazy night that we went to you know whose house. And you can't just say that. I was at the part basically where we like walk out after getting kicked out, and like from there I just want to hear like your side of the story because I feel like it's not a complete story by just me saying it. Like, I feel like you have to like kind of say exactly what had happened because you were the one that got pulled and stuff.
They clocked us or whatever, and we were like, let's get the fuck out of here, right? And then we started walking to the front to like leave, and then there was like a big SUV and it had like a huge pizza box, and we're sitting inside the car with the window down. And they like kicked us out or whatever when we were leaving, and he like told his bodyguards or whoever was standing there, like, guys in black, dude, those like men in fucking black. And he was like, go grab those two, like grab those two. And then he like quickly put his window up, and me and you were I know we both kind of looked at each other.
We were gagging.
Gagging. So then I was like, well, fuck, I see pizza on the hood. So like I was like, can I have a slice of pizza at least? And then they like slid over the pizza, and I was like, Nikita, do you want to grab a slice? And they were like, no, ma'am.
I was like, no, I was like ready. I was so ready to get out of there, and you were like just so fearless, like, no, let's get the pizza.
And I'm going, the guy grabs my arm, and he's like, hey, I need to check something really quick. And like I was wearing like pants, like spandex pants or whatever.
Yeah.
And he like pulled it back, shoves his fucking hand like in the back of my pants, and like fondles me. And I don't even like pull back or do anything because like I'm shook. I'm like, what? Wait, what? But
It's so crazy. Hello?
and like fucking feels my asshole. Sure, for homeboy, can we get your number? And I was like, are you kidding? So I gave my number still, like I stupid. And then they came. I remember I was like, my heart was racing out of my mind, and I was like, ran to the car, and I was like, Nikita, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, I told you, and you're like, no fucking way.
When she emerged and got back in the car, the security guard was nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen, nothing. And I'm like, okay, cool. Love that. Obviously, the second that she gets back in the car, I'm like, what happened? Are you okay? What went down? And she's like, girl, I just went through it. He immediately grabbed my phone from my hand and starts typing in it. And he's typing his number and he's putting in all of its information. But as he's doing it, he's asking a bunch of questions. The first question immediately was, is your ass real? And my good girlfriend, she's bodied the house, sickening. And the guy was like, okay, yeah, he'll like that. He'll like that. You sure it's real? You sure? Like, I need to feel it. I need to feel it so that I can tell him that it's real. And she's like, okay. I should have been a really good friend in that moment and not let her gone off, but she told me that she would be fine. At this point, it's at least a good like 5 going on 6 o'clock in the morning. And we're just like kind of waiting for this phone call to happen because we're just so invested in this story that we're like, what's going on? What's happening? Like, why do we have to go through all of this to now have him be about us? Like, why are you gonna kick us out of your place and then all of a sudden be about us and, you know, wanting to get our number and wanting to fill us up and down and this, that, and the other. So we get a call finally from the guy and the phone rings and instantly like both of our hearts drop and we're like, And she answers, and it's on speakerphone at this point, and he pretty much is saying the same thing of like, he's like, you need to come to the Beverly Hills Hotel at this time, at this entrance. You'll ask for this person at the front desk. We'll meet you on this floor, and we'll walk you up to this room, and da-da-da-da. Who are you gonna come with? How many people is it? Are you guys gonna bring anything? Like, don't bring anything. Like, we have everything here. Like, being really sketchy and shady. And we're kind of obviously in the mindset of like, we're not gonna go. Hello, you just kicked us out for being trans, and all of a sudden you're like about trans people or whatever. Like, what? So we're like, clearly not gonna go, but we're just gonna mess with you in the situation. So we're like, okay, yeah, we'll go. But where's the rapper guy? Like, when are we gonna meet him? Like, are we going for him? He's like, yeah. But we have to check you first. We have to like go through all these steps, and we'll check you, and then you'll be able to hang out with him, and he'll, you know, have his way with you or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, like this random security guy all of a sudden just barking out all these really coded demands and this, that, and the other. And finally, we were able to hang up the phone and like got off the phone and everything. He's now thinking that we're gonna be on the merry way to go to this sketchy little hotel. Well, it's not exactly sketchy, it's a 5-star hotel, but you know what I mean? Like a sketchy situation, but we're clearly not. And we're both like, oh my God, like what's going on? We end up putting the pieces together along with Janet, because now I'm calling Janet and I'm like, hey, this guy just called us. Like, I'm kind of filling her in on the story of what's going on. And he did call us, and I'm like, yo, he called us. He wants us to go here and this, that, and the other. And we're like going crazy. But then in that moment, we realized that we were actually clocked at the party to leave this party because we're transgender, only to be like sought out. You know what I mean? Like imagine, like I almost imagine like a cow herder. You know what I mean? Like we're just wild deer in the woods, and we're running around, and all of a sudden they see the prime what they want, and they herd them to a specific way, and then they get the information so no one sees it, because that's the thing. They couldn't approach us at the party, because then it would be like, oh, why is the homie getting the number of 2 trans girls? You know what I mean? Like, so they kicked us out first to get us kind of alone so they could question us and do the most, get our information, and then relay and want us to be sketchy and then go to them. Like, what the you know what I mean? Like, what kind of stupid BS is this? Like, if you're not about it, then don't be about it. But if you're about it, then be about it. Do I think this is disrespectful to absolutely anyone? Absolutely. Like, this is disrespectful to women, to men, to whatever. Like, if you were a man in this situation and roped up and fielded on, like, imagine how you would feel. Or if you were a regular woman, a cisgender female in this situation, imagine how you would feel. So to feel such like a fetish and such like an afterthought and like a behind the scenes feeling is kind of typical for trans people. And that's what I guess I'm trying to paint out. But also in this situation, it was just so crazy to me to actually be in it and to be just so embarrassed. Like, I felt so nasty at the end of this. Like, I felt like, why do I have to feel this way? Why do I have to be the secret? Why do I have to feel like I'm just some like nasty little like fetish for someone that they can only like me in a certain time in like a dark room in some little undisclosed location? You know what I mean? So I just at that point felt so disgusted. We both were like, we're not gonna answer him. We're obviously not going. And again, like I said, he's constantly calling, constantly like, where are you guys? Texting us, blowing us up because we're supposed to meet at a certain time and we're obviously not going. So he's blowing us up. Again, not mother effing answering. And that was the end of this situation that particular Halloween night. But the reason why I brought this up was because fast forward to almost a year later, I'm at this giant mansion party, again, an undisclosed location. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to talk about that, but I'm at this party basically, and Homeboy is there, and then Homeboy, the rapper, his specific person, security guard, friend, or whatever he was there as well. And the second I locked eyes with them, I just immediately was like, nope. Okay, anyways, that's the closed chapter to this story time. I hope I didn't go too fast or go too crazy with this, but at the same time, I didn't want to drag it on for way more than it was. I guess the story, or I guess the overall, at the end of the day, it's all about respect. And you can only be treated the way that you allow people to treat you. And although things can be crazy and so wild with fame and, you know, maybe someone has followers or maybe someone has power or money, whatever, like you can only allow them to treat you however much you allow them to treat you. You know what I mean? Like they can't do harm to you if you don't allow them to. My favorite line is, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do me no harm. And I fully fledged believe that. And there's so much more that I really want to talk on this topic of trans people and just the daily lives of what it's like to be a trans person in America. But I thought I'd start it off with a semi-lighthearted story. You know, it didn't end in some crazy fight or some physical thing or something so terrible that actually happens on a daily basis with trans people. I mean, comment down below if you guys really want to hear the inner workings of what it's really like to be a trans person in America, because I don't want anyone to think that my life is an accurate representation for the whole community, because it's absolutely not. Not even the slightest bit. There's so much dark things that happen inside of my community that I want to be a voice of, that I want to shed light to, and not even to get emotional right now, but there is just so much that I want to change as a trans person and as just a person in general, because I think it's an injustice for a trans person or any person to not feel equal as a person because of who they are or what they came from or whatever. Anyways, I don't know if you guys could ever learn from this story or if you found this entertaining or anything, but I just needed to get it off my chest because I just thought it was just so weird how a year later, all of a sudden, I'm still kind of dealing with this and I'm still seeing this person constantly. And am I necessarily blaming the rapper in the situation? No, because he technically never really did anything. He was just asking for, you know, my number or whatever and the information, and it was never really initiated by him. It was mostly his kind of minions, if you will. But I will say that just be careful out there. Like, you can never be too safe, and have a good night, have a fun night, but also just remember that safety is really everything and you only live one life, honey. All right, dragons, thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below what you thought of the story or if I need to elaborate on anything. Hopefully I covered everything. Hopefully nothing's like left to a dead end of like, what's happening next? Nothing's happening next. It was just a really random situation that I was put in that, like I said, unfortunately is something that a lot of people have to go through. It's not the first time I've been kicked out of somewhere for being transgender. It's not the first time I've been clocked in a situation like that. You know, I have countless stories about stuff like that. This just was a particular story that I was like, okay, this is just getting so out of hand and so weird. And now my other friend and I were talking about it. So I'm like, okay, I feel like I just need to sit down and just spew it out there. So now it's off my chest. And I feel better. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe down below to my channel and also like this video, girl. Let me know if I should do more story times or not. And of course, follow me on all my social media platforms at Nikita Dragun. Am I gonna come for everyone's lives and all of a sudden be a story time teller? Like, girl, excuse me, give me that storyteller streamy. Hello? Anyways, thank you guys again so much for watching, and don't forget, breathe fire, my dragons.